Hi guys, welcome to Balkan Shipyards. Today we're going to speak about Proa steering, Balkan style, and I'll introduce you to the AD-Scull. This is the AD-Scull by Mr Atsushi Doi. The guy is a sculling genius and he has come up with many types of sculling oars. If I'm not mistaken, this is one of his latest inventions. I think this is his best for me, and it's a really good tool. Okay, so this is the way I build them. I've corresponded with Mr. Doi a few times via YouTube, and the guy's helpful and he doesn't mind if you make a scull for yourself. He has got nothing against it, and he shares his information on the net free of charge, and he doesn't want anything, and he's just spreading information, so I give him a lot of credit for doing that. So the way I design my sculls is roughly a third to the fulcrum, roughly another third to the blade, and roughly a third is the blade itself. I roughly put a 15 degree over here. That's 15 degrees about, and this is basically it. So you need some type of a cleat over here. These cleats are good. That's what I use. This is the lanyard that prevents this, because the scull is digging down into the sea, because it's working like this, okay? And this lanyard prevents the handle from rising up and the blade going down as it's digging. So because it can't dig, then it pushes you forward, okay? And that's how it works. Basically, Mr. Doi over here, on this concept, he inverted the Yula, which the Chinese Yula is a horizontal blade that used to work like this, that works like this, okay? It's got the same lanyard and the same concept. It's also digging down, okay? But because it can't dig down, it pushes you ahead, okay? So he just turned it onto a vertical blade that's doing the same motion, pushing you ahead. But the difference is that you can use this also to steer the boat. So you're not only propelling yourself forward, you're also steering. It's a great tool, and it's just perfect for pros. And I'm very, very pleased with it. And now I'll see if we can do sheet to tiller, if we can make sheet to tiller work on this thing, okay? So clicking it in and getting it out, we'll go over the parts now. So in order to get the scull in, this is the pin that slides up and down the shaft, okay? It's very strong, and then I added on over here 1.5mm sheet metal, stainless steel, and so there's no damaging over here, okay? Not going to eat up the wood. This is oak on the sides over here, and it's very strong, and the business works nice. So you would slide the pin up, and you'd come to the bushing over here, and this just has to slide into the bushing. It's basically as simple as that. Once this is in, now you push the shaft out, goes into the sea, and now all you have to do is hook up this lanyard. So over here I got links, and it's hooked on, finished. So now sculling is this. You can adjust with this lanyard and this cleat over here. I can adjust how deep I want the scull to go into the water. I can send the scull further aft, raised and aft, or deep and close, okay, by just changing this. Another good thing, another good feature about this, the lanyard, is that when I'm single-handing and I want to shunt, so I will steer the boat onto a beam leech. Once I'm on a beam leech and I let my sheets fly, all I do is I really pull on this, and the scull is up and out of the water at the moment over there. The blade's not in the water. I shunt my leg, I put on my endless line, I shunt the leg over, I sheet in slightly, the boat heads up on a new course, and then I come and I start dealing with my AD-Scull. I release it from here, take it out from here, and I put it on the other side. That's make or break, and this is his main decking plank. It takes everything, this plank. AD-Scull comes over here, and on the other end, so basically it just slides into this, the pin. Main sheet cleats, compass, mast step gets stepped over here, and here's the scull itself. So if I want to try and make this thing work as a self-steering aid via sheet to tiller, I will have to, the first problem with this is that it floats up. It floats up. So when you're using the scull, you must always hold it up so it doesn't float up over there. So you can't really let it go, because the minute you let it go, this comes down and the blade goes up. So therefore sheet tiller can't work, also it flops onto the side. Okay, so I've made a mock-up over here that might solve the problem. If I can connect a piece of wood on the side of the scull, we'll come up with that later on. It's not a problem to come up with how I connect it on. And that piece of wood is basically somehow hinged to deck via a ball joint or something, even a rubber mount that is flexible to move everywhere. Then maybe the problem is solved and you just connect the sheet to the one side and the bungee to the other side, and you can maybe make an AD-Scull self-steer the boat. What I like about the AD-Scull as a self-steering aid is that it comes back to center line by itself. So if that piece of wood is waterline and the sheet is pulling, the minute the sheet lets go, it comes back by itself, versus a rudder that will never come back, while a rudder has no reason to come back. That might help, so it makes it easier for the bungee to bring it back. And it's really moving easily. It's beautiful. I mean, like there's no friction, there's nothing. It just goes anywhere you want with a finger. So maybe we can get sheet to tiller to work over here too. And therefore I don't need rudders and I don't need all that mess. I've been thinking about rudders for Proas for years now. I can't come up with it, okay? I give up. There's a million ideas, but I don't really like any of them because they all have some advantages and many disadvantages. A rudder should be something that you mount on the boat when you're on the dry, yeah, and then when you launch it's there and that's where it stays. If you want to move it, yes, there's no way to move a rudder. So then you can have the rudders that stay down in the sea, in the water. So the front one is trailing and the back one is working. I don't like that at all. I have a lot against that system. I don't see Why would I have something in the front of the boat going like that, messing my flow up, giving me an ugly wave over there, and it's something that can drive into something and get totally ripped off. I just don't like it. And then the lifting rudders, the technique type that they come up and down full rudder cases, very effective, very good, but again, if you hit something, you could end up ripping open your hull, or you could damage it to such an extent that it will never come back up and it will get stuck over there. And I don't know in what situation this can happen, and if it's a bad situation, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. So I don't like that either. Also don't like that through your waka you have a weak spot when we're thinking about rot, because that's where rot will begin, okay, and that's where problems will begin. I don't like the weight of it on the bow. I don't like you losing the back compartment. They are the best system we know, I agree, and I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying it doesn't fit my style, okay? I don't like running aground, but it happens. It happens. I mean, everybody runs aground. There's two types of sailors, the ones that have run aground and the ones that will run aground. Everybody runs aground. If you're a cruiser, you're going to run aground, unless you're using GPS and you're very careful and stuff. Good, but if you're navigating off paper, or if you're navigating without a charter and you're just going into uncharted waters, and you're a cruiser, you might run aground, my man. And if you're going to run aground, then you might as well run aground without busting up your ship. So then a side rudder, like a Viking ship had, like I had on Crystal Clear, is a good thing to have. It's not, it's got its issues, it's got a lot of issues, but the good thing about it is you can make them kick up. So if you hit something, it will just kick up, okay? That's not a problem to do that. So then at least they're safe, okay? But deploying them and moving them from bow to stern and bow to stern is hard work, okay? And it's dangerous stuff. So I got my problems over there. So I don't like the AD-Scull moving it over either. It's a long shaft. It's not nice. But it's not a big problem because you just slide it on deck, kind of. You got a big deck and you stay in the middle of the boat and you just slide it and you flip it around somehow and you put it back in place. It's not the easiest thing to do, yet it's not difficult and it's not dangerous. You can run aground all day long with an AD-Scull. Nothing happens. It lifts up. Okay? So, and it's a sculling, and you can power steer. The greatest advantage with the AD-Scull is that I can get out of trouble with it too. Because I have an engine ready to go at every time, every moment. I can steer I can scull and steer, yeah. And I can go so close to the wind that I'm almost going into the wind. That means you're steering with the power stroke only one way. Okay? And that is an amazing feature. That means I can go so close I can almost sail into the wind. Almost. Because I'm using him and I'm doing a single power stroke, bringing me up, bringing me up, bringing me up, bringing him up. And I'm going so close. And that's beautiful. After shunts, you can get him in the groove in seconds. Chick, 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 a couple things with the AD-Scull and you're on. And you're in it and you're flying downwind, okay, or on your new tack. So, I really like it, you know. I really, really like it, especially for close quarters. It's great. I mean, it's a beautiful tool. Yeah, moving it over is a little bit hard work, but you get used to it. If we can connect sheet to tiller onto this thing, we're in business. Can have a Proa go downwind or go anywhere it wants to go. No power, no fancy gear, nothing attached. Autopilots and all that stuff, they can stay in the shop. Okay, guys. Okay, so that was AD-Scull stuff. Now let's go on the build. Couple more minutes. This is where I'm at. So this is HAVAYA 3025, Proa 1.4, 213. armor glossed and primed immediately, wet on wet. Epoxy on epoxy seems to work very well. Sand it, flip it over, do the bottom. Now we're starting at spring. Flip this one, do the bottom. Here's hatches. Okay, so this is how I've always made my hatches, and I'm very happy. I've never had problems. So this is 8mm ply on the sides, just glued with polyurethane glue, and then 2 dowels, which are toothpicks, banged in. Then the top got glued on with polyurethane glue, and I put bricks on top just to weigh it down. And the glue squished out very nicely. Yeah, you can see a little bit of it right here. Okay, so I got a good bond just with polyurethane. And then I cleaned the polyurethane from the inside, sanded it a little bit, made it real nice, and put a fillet. I filleted the corners too. This is a very strong hatch. All my hatches have always been made like this. I've never had a hatch budge. Now after rounding this, I'm going to glass only the corners. Piece of glass over here, over there, and on all 4 corners, and it's a done hatch. I was thinking of glassing the whole thing over, but I'm not going to. You know why? Because let's see if we can change boat building. Let's see if we can make this world last a little bit longer. It kind of doesn't look good at the moment, but maybe we can do something. I'm not only trying to save materials because of cash, which I don't have much of. That's the way it is, okay? It's about truly not using as much of this and as much of that, and trying to cut down on costs and on materials that aren't really good stuff. I don't like using epoxy. I don't like sanding the stuff, man. I got a dead lung. It hurts me, the left one. If I go to the doctor, he's going to tell me I've got cancer in the balls, so I'm not going there. Okay, excuse me, sorry, yes. So let the lung hurt every now and again. I just don't like the stuff. So I'm not even going to glass these hatches. I was thinking of glassing them. I'm not going to glass them. Why glass them? When the hatch goes to hell, then I'll just make a new one. What's it going to take me? 3-4 hours? I can make a new hatch in 3-4 hours, piece of cake. I'll always find somewhere on the way that Sam clues in. You'll know your hatch is dead before it dies. So then you can just stop somewhere and just go into a carpenter guy, tell him, listen here, man, I'm like, can I make a hatch or something? I don't know what, find a way, and just build a hatch, you know. I suppose it's possible. So let's just do that. Let's just see how long stuff goes. This is a poplar ply boat, glued with phenol formaldehyde, which is marine ply glue. This stuff is well made. I know well they make it in Bulgaria. Top quality poplar ply. Really good stuff, okay? And there's even better poplar plies in Italy, and in the West you can even find higher quality than what I can get, because our poplar is Negro something, and this Negro something poplar, he grows up at the Danube, and the trees aren't very big, okay? So there's more knots, and the outer veneers are clear, but inside there's knots here and there, okay? There's more knots, okay? So I wouldn't say it's like the top of the top, but it's good stuff, and it's glued with phenol formaldehyde, and it's real. I'm very happy. So let's see how long poplar ply will go for, you know. Let's see how long hatches that are not glassed and are poplar ply above the waterline, painted with good stuff, cheap paints, what I use, yes, which are real good paints. They're just not made for the marine industry. They're the same quality. Not everything that says marine that costs 3 times more is 3 times better. That's the problem I have over here. So guys, Give us a like, give us a share, give us a subscribe, stay with us. You can go to patreon.com. Over there you'll find Balkan Shipyards. You can come hang with us over there. I mean, like, join us here, give us a hand. You can support Balkan Shipyards. It will be a great pleasure. Balkan Shipyards are here to stay. We keep going. I'm not stopping. I don't care anymore. Number 4, this is from Balkan Shipyards, 10 years on the business, a full decade of Proa building. And a lot of stuff I tried to change, like rudders, and I tried to solve this, and I tried to... Okay, so I got the rig good. I'm very, very, very pleased with the Shank, okay? Very, very pleased.
5, 6, 7, 8 more. Yeah.
It goes to windward, 50 to windward. It leaves in a second. It's cheap, you can make it by yourself. It's strong, it's robust, it's safe. It's the best rig in the world as far as I'm concerned. I have succeeded to a point in changing some things with something about Proas, at least for myself, you know what I'm saying? I'm very happy with the rig. Rudders I can't solve, so I'm using Atsushi Doi 8 AD-Scull. Good on a guy, man. Very happy he invented that thing, because I wouldn't have made it. Okay? And I'm gonna change Proas the way I feel they should be. The way I'm gonna make a Proa work for me. And if that can work for you, then go ahead. I mean, in Balkan Shipyards, we don't hide, we have no secrets. Guys, you comment at the bottom if you need something, if you want to know something, just put it down at the bottom. I'll answer whatever you want. I've always done it, okay? All the best people. Find us at patreon.com, eh? Balkan Shipyards. Keep shunting. The force is strong. May it be with you.